Welcome back. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 2027 presidential bid received a resounding endorsement as governors elected on the platform of the APC, of the All Progressive Congress APC, and the leadership of the National Assembly declared their unanimous support for his re-election. The endorsement came during the APC National Stakeholders Summit at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. As the Tinubu administration approaches midway into its four-year first term, party leaders, ministers, legislatures, and strategic stakeholders gathered to review the progress of the renewed Hope agenda and chart the party's path towards 2027. The Progressive Governors Forum (PGF), led by its chairman, Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, moved the motion to adopt President Tinubu as the party's candidate for the 2027 election. And to have the conversation around Tinubu's emergence as APC governor's candidate for 2027, we have Obiora Odo, who is a public servant. Good evening, Obiora.
Good evening.
Welcome to the program. And just as it is development, what would you have to say about Tinubu as being emerged as the APC governor's candidate for 2027's election?
The Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he was a senator. If you look at the trajectory and what got him to the present position that he has, even during the Nadeko days, during General Sani Abacha's experience, he has traversed through all the nooks and crannies to attain this level of position that he has become as the President of Nigeria and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. He has done well over the past 2 years. Let's say 2 years.
You really agree to that assertion?
To me, he has been able to plug the leakages in terms of the subsidy regime. He's been able to plug that. So I think he's on a path of yes.
Okay, so what other things would you like to highlight? You just highlighted the subsidy leakages.
Then the subsidy regime. Having said that, then we'll talk about the NEL fund, where you give student loan. He has been able to come up with an idea to give life to ideas. Then he has been able to address the housing concerns in terms of housing and urban renewal. Like we have the Renewal Hope housing scheme at Kasana in Abuja, which is going to spread across the 704 local governments across the country, which is going to mitigate the housing crisis. Apart from that, we have other programs in the health sector, like the insurance scheme that has been reviewed to accommodate the private citizens, for them to enroll, to really work with the HMOs to contribute a contributory scheme to address their health concerns.
Okay, so in general, you support this movement, this endorsement for 2027?
Of course.
Okay, so how does this early endorsement impact internal party democracy within the APC?
I would like to say the impact, I see nothing wrong with it. I see nothing wrong with it. If you do the right things at the right time, I see nothing wrong with it, except for people who have pecuniary interests, like people who do endorsements based on personal interests. But for me, it has been challenging, and let me go to the defections that
has been happening recently.
It's not healthy in a competitive atmosphere. It's not healthy, and we wouldn't like a situation where we have a one-party system.
I was going to highlight that.
So we need to do certain things. If we are going to criticize, we have to be constructive in criticism, and those people making endorsements or a kind of endorsing the president based on pecuniary interest or mundane things, they are wrong. If what is good is good, what is bad is bad. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's not just for personal interest, for personal benefits. So what I'm saying is that the president is doing well. He has done well. So far, so good. That's what I said.
Okay, we are still in the early political cycle. This is just 2 years in office, and already they are endorsing him for 2027. He has not even finished his first tenure. So what would you say are the real factors, the key factors that have prompted this movement?
If I'm, maybe I didn't get you.
I'm saying
Repeat.
It's just 2 years in office, right? And we have 4 years tenure, so he has like 2 years more to go. And already they're so convinced, and they've already endorsed him as the presidential candidate for 2027. What would you think are the major key factors that contributed to this within the APC? Is it just the systemic nature of having to go for a second tenure just because you won the first tenure, or there are other factors I think that contribute to it?
There are other factors. That's just the truth. There are other factors. Like I said, pecuniary interests, people who are only after their own personal interest will do everything. So, like in Igbo language, you say Ojebogo. Ojebego.
So another, you said personal interest. Is this, if he gets into power, do you think they're like other, how would I say it, like certain opportunities that would come to them as well?
Possibly. They are not jokers. These guys are real. They have their own interest attached to everything, to every interest, a kind of one that any subject that they have interest in. So what we have now is a class of politicians who are so interested in their own affairs, especially what we call it in philosophy is Platonism, self-interest with pleasure.
Interesting. So would you see this endorsement as a show of unity in the APC, or is a move to, sideline internal oppositions within APC?
I think what we have seen, even with the new entrants into the political affairs of the party called APC, continue to show and signify a kind of, what do I call it? Let's say the real APC governors, they won through the platform. APC is only a platform, just like PDP, APGA, Labour Party, and all other parties like Alliance, AA, and all that, Action Alliance. Now, but what we've seen is people who are jittery, a kind of feeling challenged, and in the course of that challenge, they are coerced into joining a party because they want to skin a new term. That's just it.
Okay.
Not that they have genuine interest in the matters of public importance.
Okay. We have 2 years left before this tenure is over, for the 5 years term they are supposed to serve, not just presidents, but the governors as well that were elected in 2023 elections. How might these early endorsements, affect governance and focus within APC? Because personally, I feel we still have a long way to go. Ideas might change, people might change, and they might want to, anything can actually happen. But having this early endorsement, do you see that it might actually, shift the focus from the 2 years we still have ahead to something else?
Well, I beg to differ. It's normal in the polity. What we do here in Nigeria, the way we play politics, is going to affect the next poll very well, either positive or negative. But I feel it is not right to make an endorsement when an ongoing tenure is yet to finish. So all those people who are eager or who readily endorsed a particular position, they are doing it out of their selfish interest.
So do you think this is going to shift the attention away from pressing national problems, like the issue of insecurity, inflation, unemployment, and the rest of it? Would people just start, having a campaign instead of focusing on what they are in office to do?
Exactly. That's my take. The issue of insecurity, in particular, is so, I don't know how to say it, but it's so important because we have to address it. The community policing, through addressing it by communal understanding and engagement with traditional leaders. That's why we continue to call for constitutional rule for traditional rulers. They will come in through that, maybe through community county council, which has been tested in other areas in terms of administration to address concerns and alternative dispute arrangement. Is going to cause a very big problem because it's a distraction. What I'm trying to say is that people making endorsement is a distraction to the president. There are things, jobs to be done, to be delivered, whether delegated or not. There are jobs to be done, especially security, education, health, agriculture,
unemployment,
the farmer headers crisis, unemployment, because agriculture will accommodate, all those sectors will accommodate people who are unemployed. If we do concentrate mechanized farming, do cash crops, we will mechanize it, people will definitely work. They will earn their living through agriculture, through health, through education, public utilities, like water resources. We talk about the river basins, the Imo River Basin. We talk about irrigation, Fadama. Fadama 1, we had Fadama 1, 2, 3, which is targeted on irrigation when you do urban farming. We need to encourage urban farming, where people use bags of cement to plant He has worked everywhere.
And it's still working.
And it's still working. So my take, government don't need to overstretch so many things in terms of doing everything is about party. It is not going to be so if we want to get things right. What we have to do is that we have to do things accordingly using our law to get there.
Okay, we just highlighted one of the effects of these things being a distraction. Let's look at it as a strategy to retain power in 2027. Do you think that these endorsements, these early endorsements that has been going on, and let's not forget the fact that people have been defecting massively from other political parties to the current, to the leading party APC, and therefore leaving so many parties having internal crisis and all the rest of it. Keeping that in mind, do we see this as a way to neutralize possible oppositions and challenges within the APC and even outside with other political parties?
His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a politician. A seasoned one. He's not a joker.
So are others not
He's
politicians?
not a meal of multitude that you can just wave off. He is committed, and I know he's up to the game. He wants a second term. He will get it. And all these things are not just mere games. Even with the workings by the FCT Minister, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, these are not something that you just wave off. They are serious. The game is on. Let's say, he's going to get the second term.
Honestly. Okay, so looking at other angles, even with how the president is, earlier he traveled to France, he's not really in quote unquote what happened. We know maybe he had health issues and all the rest. Do you think that with the way things are in the country now, do you think he has the strength to carry on for the rest of the 6 years to go? Peradventure he wins in 2027.
Senator Bola Tinubu is no older than President Obasanjo.
But I mean, Obasanjo was president years ago.
And he's still here and still making contribution, writing letters.
But not handling the position of being a president.
I know. But he's still an asset. Then he's not older than President Buhari. So, I think he's on the right path. I feel he's on the right path. Nigeria will get better if what he has said in terms of renewal hope agenda is when we stick to the plan, everything will be fine.
Okay, so let's look at earlier we talked about insecurity, highlighted some of the problems that we've been facing in the country. Do you think Tinubu is really addressing the regional problems that we've been facing, especially in the southeast?
Well, in the matter of security, he inherited a government. He just inherited the insecurity aspect of He inherited it, and I know what he has done to mitigate the present situation by appointing an Igbo man, from the southeast, the chief of naval staff. He did it. I think also the person in charge of the CG prisons is even from someone from the southeast. So some certain things are strategic. Some things are being done underground that people don't even know.
Okay.
And I'm sure with the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, and other Southeast leaders, like presently, Senator Ken Namani, former Senate President, was appointed as a chairman of the Governing Council of National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, near Jos. So these are the things we do, or government do, to a kind of address a particular yearning from people and address certain challenges, because security is everybody's business. You cannot just say, like Governor Peter Mba, he's not doing anything. Like I've seen people talk, he's not doing so. It is not like that. Security is everybody's business. You have to give back to the society. That's how it is.
Okay, so how do you think the other parts, the citizens, would actually receive this information? And putting in mind Tinubu's economic reforms, the fuel subsidy that you had mentioned before, the currency devaluation, and so many other reforms. Do you think that this will affect his popularity come 2027?
Definitely. Is going to be a determinant, maybe a factor, not determinant in entirety. Is going to, let's factor it into considerations, but it has to be personal interests and not in its entirety, because the president gave reasons for removing subsidy. He gave reasons for the student loan. He gave reasons for the farmers' grant in terms of agriculture. He gave reasons. In fact, he even mooted the idea of raising a forest guard to address the farmers' herders crisis. So I think he's on the right path. And with this done, we will live our lives normally. Everything, even before the election, these efforts could cushion the effects before time.
So, people's perception of this endorsement, how do you think people are receiving this news so far? Do you think they are happy about it, or they are strongly opposing and waiting for election day to vote him out of power? What do you really think?
People are struggling.
Exactly, I understand.
Take that home. People are struggling. People are suffering. That's why Fela said suffering and smiling. That's the Nigeria for you. People are suffering. Even the president acknowledges that he has done.
He's acknowledging that enough already.
But he said we have to be patient for the future.
I want to say it's 2 years already. We have 2 more years to go.
Years, yes.
So peradventure he wins. We have 6 more years to go. So at what point are we going to be rewarded for this suffering?
You don't even have 6 years to go. He has only 2 years. He has
only 2 years. I mean, because
when the election comes, the electorates will
decide.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, we are in Nigeria.
It's not a conclave. Everybody sees that. Yeah.
What narrative do you think the APC is pushing with these announcements at a very early time? I mean, it's not like other people have brought out their own candidates. It's not even time for that yet. So do you think this early announcement, what narrative are they trying to push out there? Are they trying to scare others away?
Professor Ganduje is a smart man. He's the national chairman of the APC, the All Progressive Congress. He's a smart man, and he has done a lot. He has been able to make sure that they took Edo.
Right before their eyes.
Yeah, right before their eyes. Then Anambra, they're looking at Anambra, and some people think that it's just mere talk.
So we'll not be surprised if they take
I
APGA
wouldn't be
from.
surprised if they take APGA.
That's really, because I know someone has actually, on one of the conversations we had here before now, someone actually said that this is politics and this is Nigeria, that anything
It's a
is
game.
really possible.
It's a game.
The same, it's not just Anambra, they're highlighting the Southeast as a whole to take over the Southeast.
Yeah.
But looking forward, how do you expect opposition parties like PDP, the Labour Party, APGA, and to respond to this move? It's such an early move, and these parties are parties that have internal crisis going on. They're still trying to put their own house in order, and people that then APC already has their the presidential candidates for 2027 elections. So how could it influence their own candidates' selection strategies as well?
Now, I expect. Thank you for this question. I expect the stakeholders, the real stakeholders of a party like People's Democratic Party, to consider the statements of His Excellency Sule Lamido, former governor of Jigawa, on what he said about PDP. People who were when they formed the party, were there when they formed the party, like His Excellency Obiora Odo, like President Obasanjo, like President Jonathan. These are the people who are expected to key into a system to address once and for all the issue or internal crisis that is in the PDP. I'm using PDP as an illustration. Just like in Labour Party, where you have Aburi and Apapa, there are leaders who are expected to come in to step in and address the whole issue once and for all, and not to be cajoled or be subverted in any way by certain elements hiding under the judiciary to further their ambitions. So, if we want to get the whole thing right, the opposition parties have to go back, either by coalition or individually, address internal crisis within their fold, go back to their leaders, the stakeholders, and address these concerns. And APC will not be difficult to surmount.
It's easier said than done. Okay, does Tinubu's early emergence as a candidate enhance or even threaten internal democracy, even within the APC and the Nigerian politics at large?
By endorsement, at least from the endorsement by the governors, democracy has been really eroded. Some people who are members of APC cannot purchase form because of the endorsement by the governors that the president is their candidate.
Yes.
So, democracy, to my understanding, has already been eroded. No, not even what they even preach is what we see. That's why I said in Nigeria, the kind of democracy we practice is far different from what is in the books. It's not a fair play.
That's a conclusion.
Yes.
Okay, so looking forward, does this undermine democracy? If this kind of thing tends to happen often, if it becomes the normal thing, the new norm, do you think, how do you think we're going to keep up with it and still uphold the fact that we are a democratic nation?
Do you know I fear for Nigeria? I've said it numerous times. Since this week, I've been saying it.
What's your fear?
Bad precedent. You see, nepotism. In appointing positions, we have a whole lot of strategic positions allotted to a particular indigenous group, which is not fair. Some might remain silent, but they're waiting for their turn. Just like our president will say, Miloko.
I was going to say that.
So, look at it. They're waiting for their turn. And
like
you can't
it's a
stop
birthright.
them. And you can't stop them. So, it's not fair. We talked about restructuring. Nobody's saying anything about restructuring. The kind of our chief, His Excellency Emeka Anyoku, former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, talked about a brand new constitution for the country, which is right. I think if President Tinubu wants to get it right, he should consider what he said, Emeka Anyoku said. Because the 1999 constitution is not working at all. And it was a military constitution. And they said, we the people, who are the people that sat at the Constituent Assembly to raise such constitution on an emergency situation by the time Abacha died. So who are the people that raised the 1999 constitution? Then we talk about certain things that are in the constitution that favors only Lagos. You talk about the situation where you have CBN, everything is Lagos. Federal Airport Authority, Lagos. Okay, look at the judgment. Some people call it landmark judgment at the Supreme Court of the National Lottery Regulatory Commission and National Lottery Trust Fund. I'm not sure if you're familiar with these organizations that I talked about. I just said mentioned. And now said that lottery is in the residual list. It is a residual matter that should reside with the state governments. Why we know that federal government regulates internet and that everything is online. So, how do you address the issue of national security that comes with it? Because national lottery, which is played, even they play beyond borders, has to do with the Office of National Security Advisor, National Financial Intelligence Unit, the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, that has to do with address the money laundering concerns. You now say it's a residual matter because Lagos is involved. Now, how will you now react when another person from another region enters as a president? These are the things that are supposed to be addressed. I fear for Nigeria for one reason. The way we are going now, too sectional, it is not good. We need to be objective in whatever we are doing, accommodate all interests, seek a common ground, and it will be Merry Christmas for everyone.
And not just common interests, and not just personal interests,
Yes,
rather.
yes.
Let's look at the fact that earlier this year, not earlier, I think a few weeks back, the sub-governors had one way or indirectly endorsed the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It happened in Akwa Ibom State and also Enugu State and some other states as well. We saw that the president visited Anambra State a few weeks ago as well. Do you think that all these things are sort of fueling the the anticipation for 2027 elections and giving them the reassurance that he is going to come back in 2027?
Like I said earlier, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a politician, very strategic. I can vouch for his intellectual capacity in reaching out for his goals. I think what happened in Enugu is not even an endorsement, but the governor showed that, Peter Mba showed that
He's pleased
he's
with the
pleased
president.
with the president. And the president equally. He was the first person that said that His Excellency Peter Mba is doing well, has done well, that he's friend, personal friend. And so where the real endorsement came from was from even Anambra and
Akwa
Akwa
Ibom
Ibom,
State.
where Governor
Umoino.
Omoeno, yes, has expressed his. I'm wondering why he's not yet. He has not prosecuted
PDP yet,
just
to
like
APC.
Sheriff and Ifeanyi Okowa. I wonder why Ifeanyi Okowa became the running mate to Abubakar Atiku and His Excellency Abubakar Atiku, only for him to jump ship. You know, that's politics. So, what I'm trying to say, President Tinubu cannot put his hand into something he cannot get. The much I know him.
So, so far, how are opposition parties likely to respond to APC's early consolidation?
I will tell you. PDP is finding it difficult to do the needful.
The needful, what do you mean by the needful?
If someone is in your food and has become a kind of throwing spanner into your work, what do? You remove the person. They've not been able to do that. They've not been able to tell themselves the truth. They've not been able to say the truth, to call a spade by its name. They are afraid. Only God knows why. Who they are afraid of. That's just it.
Okay, so could this endorsement further polarize national politics?
Yes, it's going to affect the elections generally.
I mean, especially young northern elites with political ambitions.
Their mind is made up. But they need alliance. They need an alliance to achieve whatever thing they want to do. They can't do that alone. Because it's still the turn of the South.
Oh, irrespective of how they feel and
Yes.
how they want to go about
Yes,
it.
exactly.
Interesting. So what does this endorsement mean for the future political succession and power rotation in Nigeria? I mean, you just said that it's still the turn of the South. If peradventure, I know it's a rotational thing. So how will what does this endorsement mean for the future of political rotation in Nigeria?
Nigeria has to go back to the drawing table. We need to restructure. We need a new constitution. We need to sit down and talk, to do certain things that are needful, things that are going to address our diverse nature in culture, in religion, and otherwise. It is not about talking about Yoruba presidency or Hausa Fulani presidency or Igbo presidency. We need to move away from ethnic based sentiments and move to a kind of nationalism that's going to favor everyone. We need a new constitution. That is the only thing that is going to address this impending danger, because the way I see it, there might be an implosion.
In the
People are busy
political
in the political scenario. Where people are busy fanning the embers of discord, because where there is distortion in the system, it throws up actors of many kinds. It throws up actors of many kinds, where you see people who don't even know what leadership entails. They come up with their own character, and the society is in danger.
Okay, do you really think can an ongoing coalition unseat Tinubu in 2027, if that's going to be the next strategy to be a strong opposition party against the APC?
With what I've seen now, there is no opposition.
Even if a coalition should happen?
If they are serious about the coalition, I have not seen the likes of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency Peter Obi sit down for a talk. I have not seen them do that. I don't think they are serious.
I mean, it could be in the pipeline, don't you think so?
Whether it's a decoy or they are excited, I wouldn't know. But for you to unseat a government, there must be a coalition. And you have to keep an eye every time on the government and what they do. Because Showore, who was the president of presidential candidate, that was what he was of the other party the other time. He said that the election result is already written for 2027. I don't know where he got the result from, so I wouldn't know, but he said so.
Interesting. Just in a nutshell, because we just have few minutes to go. In a nutshell, so many things has been happening in the political sector in Nigeria. So many defections, cross-carpeting, and pushing for coalition, and now Tinubu'S Emergence as APC governor's candidate for 2027. In a nutshell, what do you think will be the fate of Nigerian politics in few years to come, with the way things are now and how we are going about it?
Now, if you ask me, now that you've asked, let me say so.
Okay.
We always learn from the precedent already that plays out, and now we are not doing good, and we are not getting any better. When you have election of grab it, snatch it, run with it, it's not something to be celebrated. And when you have a government that eulogizes the wrong things in terms of doing things that kind of favors a particular audience, very wrong. So what we have to do, like I said, His Excellency Emeka Anyaoku, the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, did a very nice thing by saying let's go back to the drawing board. Let's get a constitution. I think we should listen to him.
Okay. Our discussion was centered on Tinubu's emergence as APC governor's candidate for 2027. And we had Obiora Odo, who is a public servant, have this conversation and give us his own input on this particular subject matter. Thank you so much, Obiora.
Thank you.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.